Ferrari does not sell cars the way other manufacturers do. It does not compete for customers. It selects them. Ownership is not a transaction. It is permission. And behind that permission is a system of control that resembles a private society more than a commercial brand. By the end, you will understand why Ferrari deliberately restricts access to its own products, not because it must, but because control itself is the product. This is not about automobiles. It is about power, hierarchy, and engineered desire. Ferrari occupies a rare position in global luxury. It is simultaneously a manufacturer, a status symbol, and a cultural institution. Annual production is intentionally limited relative to demand. Waiting lists stretch for years. Prices routinely exceed $500,000 for flagship models. Special editions reach into the millions before secondary market premiums. Yet the company could produce more. Factories could expand. Revenue could increase. But expansion would weaken the very mechanism that makes Ferrari valuable. From its earliest philosophy under Enzo Ferrari, scarcity was never an accident, it was doctrine. Ferrari's scarcity is engineered with precision. Production numbers are not determined by manufacturing capacity. They are determined by brand mathematics. Each vehicle must remain rare enough to preserve symbolic power. If too many exist, exclusivity collapses, and with it, the psychological premium buyers are willing to pay. This is why Ferrari often produces fewer cars than market demand would justify. Demand exceeding supply is not a problem, it is the objective. Limited series models demonstrate this strategy most clearly. Vehicles such as track-only hypercars or invitation-only editions are announced with production caps already set below expected interest. The shortage is predetermined. The waiting list is part of the experience. Scarcity creates anticipation. Anticipation creates mythology. And mythology converts into pricing power across the entire product line. Even entry-level models benefit from the halo created by unobtainable ones. In economic terms, Ferrari is not selling transportation, it is selling controlled access to rarity. In most markets, the buyer holds power. Money determines access. Ferrari reverses this dynamic. The company evaluates customers. Purchase history matters. Brand loyalty matters. Reputation matters. Collectors who maintain relationships with authorized dealers receive priority allocation for limited models. First-time buyers rarely do. Some vehicles cannot be purchased at all without prior ownership of multiple Ferraris. This creates a ladder. Ownership becomes progression. Each acquisition increases eligibility for future opportunities. The result resembles membership advancement within an exclusive institution. The brand decides who is worthy of the most desirable products, not the buyer. This inversion of power is central to Ferrari's mystique. When access depends on approval rather than wealth alone, status intensifies because the signal changes. It no longer means, I can afford this. It means, I was chosen. Financial and structural logic. From a business perspective, this strategy produces unusual stability. Most automakers rely on volume. Margins fluctuate with economic cycles. Discounting becomes necessary during downturns. Ferrari operates differently. Limited supply protects pricing. High margins compensate for lower volume, and brand equity compounds over time. Secondary market performance reinforces the perception of value retention. Some models appreciate immediately after delivery. This encourages buyers to view purchases as assets rather than expenses, which increases willingness to pay premiums up front. Ferrari also imposes behavioral constraints to protect long-term value. Owners may face contractual clauses restricting resale within a certain period. Unauthorized modifications can jeopardize relationships with the company. Public misuse that damages brand image may result in exclusion from future allocations. These controls are not about enforcement alone. They communicate that ownership comes with expectations. That expectation transforms the product into a custodial asset. You do not merely own a Ferrari, you represent it. The deeper insight is not about cars at all. It is about social separation. Extreme luxury increasingly functions as insulation between tiers of wealth. When products are widely available, they cannot distinguish elites from aspirants. Ferrari avoids this dilution through deliberate friction, waiting, qualification, approval. These barriers create emotional investment before ownership even begins. The longer the journey, the stronger the attachment. Psychologically, effort increases perceived value. Exclusivity increases identity alignment. Owners internalize the brand as part of self-definition. This is similar to how heritage luxury houses like Hermès manage access to rare handbags, or how ultra-limited hypercar manufacturers such as Bugatti allocate vehicles to established collectors. But Ferrari's system is more comprehensive. It extends across decades of ownership cycles, across racing heritage, across global dealer relationships. The brand becomes a network, and networks create belonging. Belonging creates loyalty beyond rational economics, which is why many Ferrari owners repeatedly purchase new models despite already owning multiple vehicles. They are not buying transportation, they are maintaining status continuity. Ferrari's protective behavior may appear restrictive, but restriction is precisely what sustains its power. In a world where luxury goods are increasingly mass-produced, the brands that endure will be those that control access rather than chase scale. Ferrari understood this decades ago. The question now is not why Ferrari acts this way. It is which other industries will adopt the same model next. Because the future of extreme wealth may depend less on what you can buy and more on whether you are allowed to.